Hello, I'm Matt and welcome to Badger Workshop. This year I've made myself a bed, a bedside table, and now what I really need to do is make myself a lamp. I had searched through my scraps and managed to find enough components to make one. The plan is to make a small box that's going to fit this bulb holder. So first I can get all the material cut down to the length I need it to be. To join the box together, I want to use mitered corners, so I'm going to tilt the blade over to 45 degrees. Then I can run all the pieces through the saw and get an angle cut on both sides. With all the bits cut, I can have a little test fit, but it needs another 2 bits to be a box, so I want a bit of clear perspex at the bottom and a thinner bit of oak at the top. I need to cut some grooves to accept these 2 pieces, so I swap out my grooving blade. Then I can cut a slot at the top and the bottom of each of the pieces. So here you can see the oak is going to fit in a slightly larger groove at the top and the perspex in a smaller one at the bottom. I want the perspex to be able to slide in and out though, so I can change a bulb. So on one of the pieces I just need to trim off that top bit. Now I need to cut down the perspex and the oak to fit in this gap, and the perspex cuts fine on the table saw with the standard combination blade. With the pieces cut, I just have a little quick test fit to make sure it all goes together. Then I can take it apart again and mark the centre out of that bit of oak. I need to drill a hole in this so it's going to accept the bulb holder. When this is done, I want to be able to angle the lamp, so I want to install some wing nuts on either side. Later on, these will attach to a metal bracket, so I mark out where I want these to go. I want the heads of the bolts to be recessed below the surface, so first I'm going to drill down with a Forstner bit the depth of the bolt head. Then I can drill all the way through to accept the shaft of the bolt. Before I install the bolts, I'm going to give all the bits of sand down, as it's going to be hard to do when the bolts are sticking out the side. I mix up a small batch of epoxy and I can get those bolts glued into place. When the epoxy is dried, I can look at getting the box glued up. This is going to be too small for any mitre clamps I have, so I'm going to put some tape on each of the joints. I have to flip it over to glue it up. Because of the bolts though, I have to move it to the side of the table. Then I can get some glue on each joint and spread out. Then I can get the bit of wood into place that's going to hold the bulb holder and start getting it folded up. With it all together, I get some more tape put round tightly and then leave it to dry. And when it has dried, I can get that tape off, and then I can look at getting the bulb holder installed. I'm going to use some of this nice decorative fabric coated 3-core flex for mine. Wiring up one of these is pretty easy, and if you can wire a plug, you can definitely do this. With it wired, I can get it installed, so I get it put through the hole, and then I get one of these shade rings put on, and then pulled back through until it's against the hole. Then I can get a shade ring on the other side and tighten down, locking it in place. To make the bracket for the lamp, I've got some of this flat steel bar that I can cut down with a hacksaw to the length I need. I'm going to bend this into shape, but before I do, I'm going to drill the holes I need. I need an 8mm hole on either end to go over those bolts I installed, and then a couple of holes in the centre so I can actually attach it to something. I use the drill press to drill out the holes, and then I can look at getting it bent up into shape. I've marked out where I want the bends to go, lined it up, and then I can make the bends. There's a link to this bender down below on my tool page, along with all the other tools I use. I wanted to apply the same finish to the box and to the bracket. So I rub on some of Rag & Bone Brown's wax finish. I can now get the two parts attached together. So first I get a brass washer on either side, then get the bracket bent over those bolts. I get another washer on each side, and then the wing nuts go on and it all gets tightened down. The last thing that needs to go in is that bit of perspex, but it's clear and I'd like it frosted, so I'll give it a sand down with some 180 grit. Then it can be slid into place. I've installed a small low watt LED bulb that doesn't generate really any heat at all. And that's it all put together. Now, the moment of truth, switch it on. Now I have ordered an inline switch, but it didn't come in time, so later on I will snip the cable and get that installed. But for now I can get it put into place, so I get the bracket screwed to the underside of my shelf. Then I can get the lamp put back in and tightened up. So now I can sit in bed, adjust the angle of the light and read. Thanks for watching, thanks to my Patreons, and please subscribe for more videos.